be Tarzan, no. So tell us quickly, as we're all getting to know each other, who am I sitting next to as well?
Mr. H, probably some of you know him. He's very famous, given to me by a man who went blind called Gary Horn, so he's Mr. H. And Gary decided he'd be a magician and was told it was impossible. And he said, well, I can try. And he's so good that the people wouldn't know he was blind if he was here now. And then at the end he says, you know, things may go wrong in your life, you never know, but don't give up. And he climbs Mount Kilimanjaro, jumps out of aeroplanes. Thought he was giving me a stuffed chimpanzee. You know, don't you, that he's got a tail, so he's not a chimpanzee. I hope you know that.
I do now.
Yeah. So he said, never mind, take him where you go. I'm with you in spirit. So he's been with me for 16 years, 59 countries, touched by at least 4 million people, because I say the inspiration rubs off.
Brilliant. Right, better touch him. There we are. Mr. H. So, Jane, you're obviously known to this audience here, and as people tune in around the world to this conversation, what would be the one thing that, you know, as you look at your work over the years, the one thing that you hope the younger generation today, you know, will learn from what you found, if you had to share one insight?
If I have to share one thing about the chimpanzee research per se, you know, when I first went to Cambridge University, because I started chimps with no degree of any sort, and Louis Leakey told me I had to get a PhD, so I was a bit nervous. And I got there, and I was told by the professors, who I was in awe of, that I'd done everything wrong. I couldn't talk about the chimps having personalities, minds, or emotions. Those were unique to us. I should have given them numbers rather than names. And fortunately, I thought back to the teacher I had as a child who taught me that wasn't true, that animals did have personalities, minds, and feelings, and that was my dog, Rusty. And so I think that the most important thing that I've been able to share because of the chimps is that there's no sharp line between us and the rest of the animal kingdom. We are part of it, and we should respect animals, particularly those with reasonably complex brains, and, you know, give them the respect that's their due.
Now, as you look at the relationship between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom, what would be the one area where we're doing best, and what's the area that we're doing worst in terms of our communication and respect?
Well, there's no question but that, you know, chimpanzees biologically are unbelievably like us, the structure of the brain and everything, but our human intellect has exploded. And it doesn't make sense to compare. Even the brightest chimp who can learn 400 signs of American Sign Language, use them in correct, you know, correct context. It doesn't make sense to compare that intellect with that of ours, where we have a little robot up on Mars, for heaven's sake, taking photographs. So we've done amazingly well with our intellect and what we can do with our brain. But then look at the other side. How is it that this intellectual creature is destroying its only planet? So the bad that we've done is to use our brain for some amazing things, but also weapons of mass destruction, and the way we lead our lives every day. We are leaving a way too heavy environmental footprint on this planet.
Now, do you think that message is starting to get across, or do you think we're getting worse?
I think it's starting to get across. I'm very encouraged by some CEOs of major corporations who really are beginning to make change, and sometimes it's for the bottom line, and it's because they want a green image. I don't care what they do it for, as long as they do it. And through our youth program, which is now in 131 countries, that there's no question but that young people, not only in our program, but many, many programs around the world, are beginning to understand, because it's their future. You know, you hear, we haven't inherited this planet from our parents, we borrowed it from our children. We haven't borrowed anything, we have stolen. You and I have stolen from the great-grandchildren of this planet.
And so, just tell us briefly about your youth organisation. Where do people find that?
Well,
what's it doing?
It's called Roots and Shoots, and you can find it on the website. This is a web sort of thing, rootsandshoots.org. And basically it's groups of young people getting together, talking about what disturbs